Hey everyone, Ted Fletcher with FMS Integration. So I wanted to go through and show an example of how to update the firmware on a Starline CPM. The CPM or Critical Power Monitor is used on the end feed meters and also their tap off or outlet boxes. So Starline has a release doc that gives instructions as far as what is allowed. So if you're using earlier version of 5.02 or 4.07, you can apply this version 4.26. This video is being done on September 8th, 2023. So this is the current doc that was published up onto their website. If you have a newer version of firmware, you can go to the 5.07, which means you have to have a previous version of 5.05 loaded onto your current CPM. In order to download this firmware, if you don't have it available, there's a link that you go to for Starline's website for downloads. You do have to be registered with them in order to download any of these files. They also have a bunch of literature and other guides. So here, if you just click on the link, it'll take you to their site. As soon as it brings you to the site, it takes you to the Critical Power Monitor. You want to be on this section for the CPM in order to do any downloads. By default, if you come in through the front of the website, it'll land you onto the Track Busway tab. So here we just go to sign in. Once signed in, go to View Library. Here you got all your documentation up at the top. Case studies. I sign in brought me back to the default Track Busway. So go click on the right tab. Here you can see the latest firmware release of 4.26. So here you can just select that and then you can go to the download. If you're using a version previous of 4.07, there was some updates done to the web page files. So if you want to get the latest files for your web page, it's a .tfs extension, so you can also select this for the download. I already have these selected, but once you have them selected, then you click on download and you can either have it email you a link or you can download the files directly. So you can select what is according to you or any other documentation that you need off from this page. This is a very helpful resource section. So here I'm going to open up my CPM monitor, and I'm set to the factory default of 192.168.1.99. This is a little bit of an older unit, so it's using the factory default username and password of admin. Any newer units, you would want to be in front of that CPM. There's a QR code that will have the actual factory password. So in order to do the update, you go to config. Once on config, you go to uploads. So here you have your options for choosing the firmware file to where we're going to set to 4.26. If you do need to upload that updated web page file, the .tfs, here you'd select this. Doesn't really matter which order you go in, but if you're missing a bunch of these links that you see up at the top, if you have a limited amount of these, then you want to update that firmware file, or sorry, the web page file. So once you have this selected, before I get moving through the process, what I like to do, especially if I'm remote, not in front of the unit, I'll put a ping on the device. And again, this would be whatever that IP is set to. Then I do space -T. That way it just puts a constant ping on it. I'm going to drag this off to the side, then we're going to select the file, then I'll bring this back over. So we just go to choose file. So we want to select a newer version. So here's that 4.26. Select that. Select the .bin file. Select open. Select upload. Give that a few seconds. Drag that back over. Oop, got ahead of myself. So here I'm going to put that default username and password of admin. Again, if you have a newer unit with the QR code label on the front, you want to use whatever that password is. Alright, so the web page returned, so it took the file, no errors. If there was an error, it would come back with a changes saved, but it's going to tell you that there was some sort of error processing the files. Here we can see that we're starting to get a timeout, so that means that the CPM is going through a reboot to take that new firmware file. Typically it's about 10 seconds. Alright, see that it's responding here, so I'm going to drag this back over, and then all we have to do is do a F5 or a refresh command. And we see now that we're at version 4.26. So just wanted to kind of show you going through on the process. If you had to upload the web page file, same process. You just go to choose files, go to the web pages, select that .tfs, click on open, and click on upload. So hope this was helpful. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out to FMS Integration. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you.